So, I'm going to go ahead and give an explanation of something, just that way it's understood. All right? So, when I was at that crossroads, retaliate, get retribution, and go ahead and be able to wipe off the map one of the people that went to go flare up the harassment campaign. Or go ahead and just try to keep some form of hope that I can move forward and one day have some semblance of being able to have any type of normalcy or any type of peace just because of the factor of other people wanting to escalate and provoke a problem that they had no intention of getting caught in the crossfire of, thinking that they would not have to face any type of potential of getting harmed in the crossfire. But I did. I called Samuel. All right. I went to go talk to him. I think it was in Jamaica at the time, he said. But I told him the factor of how fed up I was. I told him the factor of how much I had been getting provoked. I told him the factor that I had gotten pushed far past my threshold. That if anybody kept pushing anymore, that I'm liable to snap. And I'm liable to do something that I can't undo. Keep in mind. All right. When I was younger, all right, when I was still in Pedersen Craig, that whole situation, Samuel was one of the mobile crisis counselors. All right. He got to see the worst of my family. He also got to see the worst of my anger. And he knew how angry I was. But he also got to see a lot behind the curtain to get to see how my family is. To understand why a lot of my anger was absolutely justified. Ultimately, the amount of respect I have for that guy, I don't think people understand. I mean, if anything, when I had found out that he was ordained, one of the big fights that there was for me was the fact that I wanted him to be the one to officiate with getting married. Keep in mind, elderly man in his 80s, you know, immigrated here from Algeria. And that's part of the reason why I get so pissed off about the anti-immigrant rhetoric. All right. One of the most effective counselors that I ever had, who I also viewed him as one of my best friends. Yeah, he wasn't from America. And I understand he had to deal with so many struggles. So to ultimately have to go see all the bigoted bullshit that I had to see in my environment and surroundings growing up. And then ultimately when I ended up getting racially profiled, that all of it. He was one of the few people that would genuinely listen to me. And no matter how minuscule what I was pissed off about was, he genuinely listened to me. At the same time, too, we would be able to actually use humor to try to diffuse situations. You know? And I mean, that guy has gotten to see me spew venom over and over and over and over again. But he is also, throughout the years, throughout really the decades, had gotten to see the amount of good when I'm left to my own devices and actually given the opportunity that I'm willing to do and that I actually do. But he's also seen how many times and how often I've been taken for granted. So understand, when I had the opportunity to make that decision, instead, I called somebody to try to help talk me off the ledge. All right? And then, with apparently weed not being medication, I went and smoked a CBD vape pen. I just kept hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead, try to take some of the edge off. I'm not having to deal with anyone around. I get to go ahead and actually just relax and unwind myself. I get to just not have to deal with all of the expectations of everyone. Because at that point, Jen was at that trailer in Morganton. And I got to just enjoy the solitude. Yes, I was getting eaten up by bed bugs. Ultimately, I wasn't able to get sleep because of the factor that I was constantly getting eaten up by parasites for almost half a fucking decade. But at least in this one situation, I decided I'm going to save that as the last option and make the point and make it very well vocalized that I could have done something that, but the amount that, end up hearing on the news when it comes to gun violence, when it comes down to, people trying to be like, oh no, the issue isn't guns, the issue is mental health, the issue is mental health. No, the issue is people not wanting to understand when you try to go ahead and paint somebody out to be a creep, and you keep trying to provoke them, and you have them constantly accosted and harassed for decades. And literally, they've also taken the time to go ahead and not only learn about gun safety, but actually taken the time to try to learn de-escalation, actually took their studying seriously, actually went to go work towards the future, that somebody else in the background that was too much of a pussy to actually show themselves, just had plans. Well, you know what? You pissed me off. So the only thing I'm going to do is try to destroy any semblance of a future you have. Because fuck you. Yeah, no, just fuck you. You rubbed me the wrong way. That mentality. That mentality almost caused a drive-by. That mentality and that constant provocation, yeah, that has literally driven me from trying to go ahead and use, for example, Dungeons and Dragons as a catharsis to temper out, using video games as a way to try to temper out, literally trying to, because apparently music got taken the fuck away from me because of the petty bullshit here. Well, meantime, yeah, they don't understand. Arson is really not left off the table after the bullshit that I've been through. Yeah, a drive-by really wouldn't be off the table after the bullshit that I've been through. Do you know when it gets taken off the table? When the harassment stops. But after 2 decades of harassment, How am I to believe that it's going to stop?